Hello again, this is UML Operator. Hello and welcome back. In our last session, we created our first project and we created our first class diagram using the model builder, right? So you can reflect back on that session if you need to. We're going to go ahead and close this. We're going to go ahead and minimize this package here, and we're going to create a class diagram from scratch. So we're in the Sparks default layout, and where we have browser on the left and we have properties on the right and notes in the lower right. So what we're going to do is we're going to select on the root node, the highest level called model. You can rename this if you want to. And we're going to this time new package. And then we get this dialog box here where we can give this a name. And we're just going to call this my class diagram. And we're going to create a diagram inside this package. So if you just went with package only, that's all you would get is the package only. If you want to go ahead and create a diagram of any type, you would create diagram, have this option selected. Let's hit OK. So we get this dialog box here where we select the type of diagram that we want to use. We're going to use UML structural, and we're going to choose class diagram, and we're going to go with the same name as the package. You can rename this if you want, but we're going to go with that. All right, so then we're going to hit create diagram, and now we have a blank diagram within our workspace. Now there's a few ways to create elements within your diagram. You can right click in here and go through a menu selection in here to bring one in. So the other way and easiest way is to have the toolbox. So the way you can get to the toolbox is from the start tab. You go to all windows, go to design, and you'll see in diagram category toolbox. As soon as you select it, it pops up to the left of your workspace, your work area, for you to start using. And because we chose class diagram, we get the toolbox for class diagrams, class elements, associations, and much more. Now I like to have my toolbox to the left of browser. And you'll notice when I'm dragging this, I'm holding down the left mouse button and dragging this window around, I have all of these drop icons here. I can drop it to the left. I can drop it right on the browser. I can drop it at the bottom, top, right. So like that. I want it to the left of the whole work area. All right. So I'll let go of the mouse button and there we go. Now we're ready to start modeling. So I'm grabbing the class element right here in the toolbox and I'm dragging and dropping it into the work area, the diagram. And you can see as soon as I did that in the browser, it shows up as a selection, right? I can either select the class element, use this top arrow here, just hold down the left mouse button, drag it over, I get a pop-up menu. Well, what do you want it the other side, the targets to be? Well, I want it to be another class element. Well, what type of connection do you want between the two? Well, I want it to be an association, and there you go. All right. Now, of course, these names aren't accurate, right? So you can hit function key 2 to edit the name, and in the name, you can give it anything you want. You know, customer, cat, dog, system, some system name, whatever you want. Another way, we're going to select class 2 is to do it in properties. Well, where's properties in here? If you remember, properties is in the upper right. So we're going to select this element here, and we have an option of element or tags. On elements, you can see the name is here, and you can put in whatever name that you want here. We'll just call it sales. All right. So now we have customers connected to sales. Let's bring in another element. So this time what we're going to do in the toolbox, you can either drag and drop or watch this. If you select an item, the mouse cursor, it has an element in its hand, right? And so you can just click anywhere you want and it adds that element. That automatically named it class 1 only because we'd replaced that. And we could type in product, we could type in any name we want. We again can rename or name over in the properties under name and do all sorts of naming changes anytime we want. Let's bring in another element. So we're going to select this. Matter of fact, let me show you another way. I'm going to hit escape. We're going to hit control and click. And it remembers the last action, the last element you did and brought that in. It's automatically on the element to let you rename it, anything that you want. And we're just going to put in support, something like that. All right. Now we want to draw some associations. So sales to product. If you grab this arrow, drag, hold down the left mouse button, drag it to product and just let go. Choose the association type that you want. We're going to go with association, the right connector type, association type. And now we have sales connected to product. All right. Now, if we want to draw another line, there's a couple of ways to do it. The easiest way, just drag the line, bring it over, let go, and then choose any type of connection type that you want to use. And we'll get into these as we're going forward and through. But what we're going to do is just choose association. All right. Now, this next part is even more important, and that's understanding that each element in here, if we zoom down here, has a GUID, a global unique ID. Each one has its own GUID. So it remembers that this connection is between this global unique ID and this global unique ID. If I delete this element, it's just deleted from the diagram. It's not deleted from the project. Support is still over here in the browser. If I drag and drop this in as a link, you have other choices we'll talk about later, and hit OK. It remembers the connection between these two elements. All right. So understand the notion of GUID, global unique ID, how it's stored in the Sparks database, and how it can be called up on anytime, any diagram from any package. And it will remember or have the intelligence to understand its relevance, its relationship with other elements. So, all right, that concludes this session on my first class diagram. We're going to have a lot more discussions around other types of diagrams and doing those possibly for your first time. Maybe not. Maybe you've worked in other modeling tools, you understand UML and how to model. But we're going to learn how to do it, talk about how to do it in Sparks version 17. So until that next episode, happy modeling.